Boom. We're live on the Book of Face and the YouTubes. I don't know how we look there, but hopefully it's okay. You got a good eye shot on it? I'm going to shut my computer there, get that out of the way. How do we look? We look okay? Wind screen?
Facebook, I think you'll be good. There's a little lag.
Of course, yes, but as long as I'm...
Yep, and you're good on YouTube.
Okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to start with. I was just thinking about this. I just taught a kids class where we did the, gosh, I'm not even sure what we should call it, arm wrap from the guard, and we took the back. So it's a very, very basic technique. It's one of our fundamentals techniques as far as the fundamentals curriculum goes, one of the most common things to happen. And so basically, if you look at it, there's 4 basic things that you can do from the guard position. You can submit them, so you can submit them from the guard. So you can choke them, arm lock, you name it. You can sweep them, which puts you on the top of the fight. You can escape the guard. So if you're able to, you can make frames, you can put the foot in the hip, you can stand up in base, you can get away from the guard, especially if you have the ability to kick them back a little bit. Or you can take their back. So one of the most common series that we have, one of the most common basic series we have is taking the back from the guard and the pendulum sweep. So here's the scenario that we typically teach this from. And this was a very, very common situation, especially early on when we started training, back in the 90s when I started training. A lot of wrestlers would come in. They would give us they would give us a lot harder time than a lot of the upper, what do you call them, like traditional martial artists, I should say, because they didn't have a ground grappling game. But wrestlers they just knew how to grapple, and they were comfortable in the mat. But one of the behaviors that you would see, and it's even not that uncommon now, even in professional fighting, is that once they get on the top, they want to hold you down. And a lot of times they want to make space so they can make enough space to either headbutt or throw punch, okay? So I'm going to talk about this position and kind of some of the things that you can do in this situation, okay? And there's a couple arm locks that are very, very simple and I like them a lot. Now, one thing you want to try to prevent is somebody wrapping your neck like this. This was not so uncommon back in the day, okay? If we have time, we'll kind of cover what to do in that scenario, but not so uncommon because they wanted to control your head and they wanted to pin you on the ground. And of course, in the one video we talked about not letting your neck get wrapped at all. You never want to let your neck get wrapped. Neck cranks are terrible and you want to avoid them at all costs, okay? Now, that being said, if he's able to swim inside and make a frame, you'll notice if he pushed up on this side of my shoulder to make this space, it's easier for me to deflect. That's not a problem, okay? Very simple to deflect it. Same over here. If he pushes up, I may have to switch head position, but I can always deflect that arm and keep it on the outside. But if it comes a little bit further across, he's making an anchor here. And so now deflecting this arm is kind of problematic, all right? So one of the most basic things we do is push the arm across, pull them in, and we lock them up, and then we start moving here to the back position. So now most everybody's familiar with this. We get the arm wrap position, we come up, we can kick the leg out, we can come up, take the back. Another scenario, another basic movement from here is we start to take the back. They feel that and they don't want to let us do that, so they drive into us. And so when they drive into us, they're putting their weight on us. I'm really chasing the back, but now I'm going to switch and go here for the pendulum sweep. One of my favorite sweeps in Jiu-Jitsu. It's just a fun sweep to take, to pull off. And that technique is super easy if they are actually trying to prevent you. If you have that position, they are trying to prevent you from taking the back, then that sweep is super simple. If your movement is correct, it's very easy to pull off. Now, sometimes you deal with somebody who's got a really good base, and I start to come here, and they're good at finding that middle point, and their base and their balance is good, or they're just really heavy, and I'm not able to pull this off. So he comes to bring the leg up, start driving into me. Okay, so I come here like this, and he's not going. I switch. I pass the leg over the head, and now your body, if you've got the movement correct, you're going to be able to pull that off quickly because you're spinning your body. So if you've most everybody's already familiar with the pendulum sweep, but I really like this arm lock a lot. So we're here, I start chasing the back. That's number one. If he gives me his back, I'll take it. If he doesn't, I'm gonna try this pendulum sweep. I hook here, I spin, I start to go, but let's say his base is just pretty good. Once I realize I've lost, I don't have any more, and this is a very powerful sweep, but I've been here before with guys who have good base, and sometimes you're not able to get it. I could switch and try to come back and take the back mount, but what's easier at this point is just to switch past the leg. I just punch my own chest with his wrist. This hand comes here, grab, 1, 2, boom. Okay, so that's a really gratifying arm lock to hit. I like it a lot. You can actually hit that on the way over. If you decide that you want the arm lock instead of the sweep, which, I don't know. I mean, I like the pendulum sweep a lot. You end up in a really awesome position and you can do the arm lock for the mount, or you can do it mid-flow. They start to fall. Instead of pulling the leg out like you normally would for the pendulum sweep, let's spin this way so you can see the leg work here, okay? Typically, I would come here and swing the leg out of the way. So he's not landing on my leg and I can continue this movement and come up, and then we could possibly go for the arm lock there. Or, if I timed it right and I wanted to be fancy, which I like to be fancy every now and then, okay? We come here, I spin, he starts to fall. I pull it here, and I have the arm lock as he falls down. So same concept, whether they fall or not. But that's a really gratifying arm lock. I like that one a lot when I'm able to catch it. And another option, another possibility or position there, even before we get the arm across, you know, one of the main principles from, you know, in the guard position is always feeling that, we talk about this a lot, distance management is critical, right? Either all the way in or all the way out, not allowing them that perfect distance to throw a good strike, okay? Now, the problem here is that they can hold themselves in that perfect distance to throw a strong strike, okay? So, one of the things we talk about all the time is you always fill the gap with what? With elbows and knees. So if there's a gap, let's say I'm here, he gets the art form on the inside, now I'm not able to hold the head down as easily. His head starts to come up, so even a small headbutt, even just a few inches can make a difference, okay? But what you have another opportunity for here is to switch. So this hand isn't swimming, if it's not pushing enough away, I'm gonna come here. I wanna defend the headbutt here, and I wanna defend the punch here. So my leg, and my elbow, my knee come together, and as they're trying to punch me here, I'm gonna kind of borrow off of this here, and I'm gonna switch past the leg and arm lock, okay? So let's do that one more time. Have you seen these? You probably haven't seen these
I
before.
don't think so.
See?
Not this one.
All right. So defending the punch, he pulls their arm back to throw the punch here, elbow and knee together. I trap, I control, I can hang out here, or I can kick off. I don't need to put the foot in the hip, I can just kind of kick off to create some momentum. But you'll notice how I have this control, and I kind of lift it up. That kind of brings my body around this way. I pass the leg, boom, 1, 2, arm lock. So that's also a very, very gratifying arm lock, and it's something for you guys to throw into your training, you know, with the punch blocks and things like that. And you know, for your friends that, like, there's a certain amount of folks that are at home that really, they may not have a training partner, but they may, or at least, sorry, they may not have somebody at home that normally trains jiu-jitsu, but almost everybody knows how to pull, you know, roll up their hands like this and throw a punch. So if you can con them in to try to help you develop your jiu-jitsu, I strongly suggest like open hands just to keep it safe, or finding a pair of MMA gloves or something that you can get online, mouthpiece or whatever, and just having a partner, if they're, you know, just playfully, don't hurt them, obviously, they're not gonna wanna train with you very much, but develop your self-defense skills in this time off. Man, I would highly suggest it. I mean, we were just talking about that in our little kids class. You know, the parents may not understand what the kids have already learned in jiu-jitsu. A lot of times they just come and they want them to learn it, but they're not always participating as well. Some do, and that's very helpful. But if they don't, you know, at the very least they can practice and, you know, let the kids learn how to defend themselves, because, you know, just by the nature of being bigger, the person that's bigger has a higher likelihood of being on top of the fight. So it's very important to develop your skill set on the bottom and learn how to defend and really gain the confidence in jiu-jitsu there. So how we doing? We got any questions?
Yeah, Allison asked if you have any interest in showing the knee in the middle guard pass.
Yes, sure. Which one?
With the hands in the armpits when you stand up.
Oh,
knee in the middle
yeah.
And then drop down.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, is there any other questions too?
That's it so far.
All right, yeah, we can go over that. How we doing on time? Doing good?
Doing good.
How long did I ramble on those techniques?
You're only at 6:10.
Whoa, man.
And Rogification would like to know what kinds of foods you like to eat to stay in shape and have enough energy for jiu-jitsu.
Rojo. Man, so what kind of foods do I like to eat? Well, before the pandemic or after the pandemic? During, whatever. I've gained a little bit of weight, not too much, but I've gained a little bit, more than I'd like. So I haven't eaten as healthy as I typically do. For a while, I was doing paleo, and my energy levels seemed to be really, really good on that. As long as and honestly, I could go a good bit of time, at least. I know that everybody responds differently to different types of diets, but I thought my energy system worked pretty well with that basic guideline with paleo. And then at some point, my wife tried doing the very similar, just a little bit more strict.
Keto.
The keto. So basically, eating whole, non-processed foods. Did keto for a while, and I felt very similar on that diet as well. It was a little bit harder to track, so I had to use the MyFitnessPal app, but I did try intermittent fasting for a while, and I did not get the benefit that most people say that they get out of it. I tried it for a couple months at least, and it just didn't seem like it made much of a difference for me. I didn't. I tried it. It's not that it bothered me, like I got hungry or felt fatigued or anything. I think that a lot of that has to do really with just, I don't know, I think everybody's different, but I felt good on both the keto and the paleo. My weight, my energy kind of balanced out a whole lot better for me, and I felt like,
So mostly just staying away from sugars.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, as far as energy and things like, once I got to a point where I was using fat for my energy, really then it came down to how much I was actually physically training, and how much benefit I got out of that. I think that made a bigger impact than actually. I mean, I know the diet has a lot to do with it for sure. And the one thing I had a friend, one of the students asked not too long ago if I had any experience doing the Gracie diet. I tried it a few times years ago. It was just very difficult to track. It was very difficult to stay, and especially at the time I worked at really long hours at a restaurant, and it was not so easy to kind of just grab this. Oh man, is this combined? And it was just hard. But I will say that the folks that I do know that are on it, I mean, Helson Gracie, and he's very strict with his diet. I mean, he really thinks that diet. His niece was telling me the other day he thinks that the Gracie diet is going to kill the coronavirus. So it's I think everybody that I know that sticks to that very strictly has got I'm sure some of it is genetic, but I don't think that a lot of it is, because you look at some of the Gracie family that don't adhere to it, they're not nearly as healthy as the ones that stick to it and have that healthier lifestyle. So I think that the proof is in the pudding. I think there's no doubt if you can follow the guidelines and you can combine. I mean, it seems to be a very, very effective diet. And take it, keep this in mind. I'm not a dietitian. I can only talk about what works and what has worked for me. But for me, paleo seemed easy. A lot of the foods that I like, I just it didn't bother me being on that diet. I could really, and then we did the low carb thing with the keto, and that was perfectly fine too, because again, a lot of the foods that I like, I could eat. I love steak, I love bacon, I like avocados and eggs, and so all those things were pretty good, and I like butter too. Butter's good. But I miss bread sometimes. Like, I've been eating bread now but you know, I got to cut back and start my diet to trim down the quarantine 15. Let's go. Let's do a knee through the middle pass. The one that she's talking about, it's not one that I would typically go to, but I'll show you this one, and I'll show you another option that a lot of training partners don't like, because both of them kind of go through the center, right through the fun. Okay, so this one is utilized a lot by smaller people. Okay, because sometimes it's very difficult. Like how I typically break the guard.
Smaller people with smaller people, though, I will say it does not work well.
It's harder, right? But if you're a smaller person dealing with somebody with bigger legs, it gives you some of the options of standing up without having to pick their weight up. Okay, so you can stand up but not have to pick up their full weight in this way, or you could stand up with posture, which would require you to pick up a good majority of their weight, and that's a difficult thing to do for some people, and it takes a lot of energy. Okay, but a lot of it is just really trying to mitigate the energy management, right? Does it cost me more energy to stand up and break the guard, or stay low and break the guard? Okay, well, I always err on the side of I want to stay low and break the guard here. Okay, or actually, typically, I don't even try to open the guard. Most of the time, I let them open the guard for me. So if I'm patient enough, I'm blocking, I'm preventing, because there is no closed guard pass. You hear people talk about closed guard pass and open guard pass. There is no closed guard pass, okay? Unless you're small enough and the person's big enough to where you can fit inside and slide right through, okay, in the pass that I'm about to do. My 3-year-old could do that to me, right? But for the most part, either they're going to have to open their legs or I'm going to, okay, in order for me to pass the guard. So everything's an open guard pass. So you have two sections here. You've got two main things going on. Number one is there's a guard break and then there's a guard pass, okay? And they don't always have to be married together. A lot of times they are, but they don't always have to be. This particular one, it kind of is. Like you're going to start with a knee in the middle, right? Where it goes, you can change from there. But it's essentially this, that even though I'm taller than him and I'm a tall guy, I can still do this, but you will see this in a lot of the lower weight and smaller folks will lean heavily on using this pass to break the closed guard, all right? Because they're going to use their hips and their legs instead of, using the arms here, okay? And when you stand up, you don't have to pick all their weight up. It's just kind of their lower body here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go low with my upper body, so I'm going to keep my head in the center, but to protect against collar chokes and them sitting over top of my sides, I'm going to lock them down. So I'm going to grab the lapel. Now, no-gi, you could do it like this, okay? Some people like to do this. That's all fine, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the lapel. I'm going to push my fist right into his armpits, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to pop up to my feet, almost like I'm keep your guard crossed. Okay, almost like I'm doing a like downward dog. Is that upward dog or downward dog? Downward dog, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, once I pop up like that, is I'm gonna move my hips back a little bit. You see how his hips come up towards my chest? That's what I want. Now I'm gonna put one foot back, the other foot comes in the middle, and I'm gonna sit back towards that back leg. Okay, now if the guard hasn't broken open yet, I'm gonna arch my back. Okay. Once it does, or if he's trying to sweep me with his legs, then I'm going to push my hips through. As I'm pulling with the lapels, I'm going to push my hips through, my knee goes out, okay? That's if he had his legs closed, all right? If not, I can always do this. I can punch this down and cut through this direction, all right? So once you get the knee in the middle, most of the time people are going to open at that point, but if they don't, you have an option at the Haja Gracie sweep. Have you done this before? I'm going to have you give it a try, okay? Oh, the pass. Yes, the pass.
I haven't, but it seems simple enough.
Yep, I'm going to walk you through it, okay? Now, the Haja Gracie sweep, if you have legs long enough, I really like this sweep a lot. Man, he pulled it off at the highest level. So it's here, he pops up, keep your head down low, good. All right, now, keep your feet back further, okay, good. Now, most of the time, the legs are going to walk up because they want to try to get an arm across, but it's very difficult. Now, put one foot back, put a knee in the middle, and then sit back to your heels. That's how that knee's gonna slide in the middle, okay? So bring it here in the center. Let's come back, okay? All right? So I'm gonna lock my legs up, now sit down, good. Now, if you have long enough legs where your legs are still locked and their knees in the middle, just hold onto their sleeves and use your hips to bump them over here. And then when you transition to the top, just make sure you're pulling your heel back so you're not ending up in footlock territory, okay? So, to stop that sweep, basically, let's come back. Just start there with your knee in the middle and the leg down, okay? So if you feel this, and I have my legs locked, I'm gonna get my legs locked. Sit back on your heel a little bit more. There you go, like that. Okay? Now, I want to take him this direction. So what you're going to do is push your hips through, angle your knee this direction. Here, push your hips through. Go, go, go. Push your hips. Yes. Yes, that. Right there. So that's how you shut down that sweep if you're able to. Okay? And then as soon as you can, you want to take away all this space. Okay? You don't want to let them have this knee come across and give you problems here. Because even here, I can still sweep him. Okay? So, that's that's the basics of the knee in the middle guard pass. It's just like boom here, get the knee in the middle, and so the way you're going to make the space is you're not moving forward. You'll never get the knee in that way. You put the knee here, you move your body back to the back foot, so the knee pries up into the hip. Okay, and so a lot of times they're they let go just because of the length. Not everybody has, very, very long legs like myself, or Haja Gracie. We're about the same height, and so not everybody can pull off that sweep. But it's a simple sweep if you can lock the legs like that. And my gi's all sorts of messed up. Now, we passed it. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I should share this pass or not.
You do have a couple of other questions too.
Okay, all right. I was gonna show a pass that Helson showed me years ago. That one I was just saying that you're not gonna like. I'll show you later. We'll save that for another time. I'll ask Helson if he'll let me share that pass. Some things that Helson teaches, I don't feel like I should. Like some things are very, very standard, like a scissor sweep. There's always going to be details that are very, very unique that you get from people. There's some things that Helson does that are extremely unique, and I like to let him share those the way that he wants to share them. I'm glad I learned them, and I share them with my students. I don't hold anything back from my students. And it's not like there's anything secret, but I still feel weird about showing some of those. So some of those things I'll hold back from throwing out on the internet. But yeah,
Right,
take it private with him, and you can learn some really amazing stuff.
So Justin has a question on Facebook, but let's finish up.
Okay.
John has a question on YouTube asking, do you have any tips on dealing with or passing a deep De La Riva hook when in combat base?
How do you feel about the De La Riva?
I think I can do it.
Okay, so a deep De La Riva in a combat base, a lot of it comes down to, well, typically, this is what a lot of people, and I'm assuming this is what was his name? John. I think what a lot of people consider combat base is this position here. So I'm assuming that's what John is talking about. So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap your leg deep here. The main thing with this De La Riva hook is shutting down the ankle. Let's turn this direction a little bit, okay? So grab my ankle, okay, and you're going to thread this leg all the way up here like this, okay? So we're here. So this is a basic De La Riva position. Now, to get a real deep one, he's going to come all the way here like this. Now, this is a problem, okay? So if it gets too far to where my hip is angling too bad this direction, I'm going to try to control this foot, keep it out of the way, and then I'm going to try to back step and come this direction and gather up his leg. So now we can go into leg lock territory if I'm able to, all right? So I don't like to go to that. If that's sort of down the road. I don't want to go to that right away unless it's what I have to go to. So I'd like to shut down the De La Riva before it gets super deep. Let's change our angle this direction, please. Okay. So one thing here, most people are either going to grab the pants or they're going to grab the heel. Okay, almost always. So in either situation, if I try to lower myself down here like this, and this is deep, okay, this can be a real problem. All right. So what I want to try to do is get rid of that if I'm able to. I want to control this leg. Okay, keep the hook here. All right? Now, what I want to do here is change the angle of my foot. If I look, keep that there. If I lower myself here, he can still stretch. He still has a lot of control, okay? Because the angle of my knee, when I lowered myself, my knee is still angling towards him or even further back this direction. If I change my positioning here, now keep it. You feel? Okay, now keep it as tight as you can, okay? So if I put pressure, I'm still having a hard time. So so if you guys can see here, let go for a second. What I'm doing with my foot, we're here in this line. If I lower, my knee goes like this, and you can still keep that hook. If I turn my toe out and I lower, I'm pushing his upper leg out that way. It puts more stress on the hook. Come back to this direction, please. So, get your hook again. Boom. Okay, now turn your body this direction. Okay, now hold the foot. Even though he's holding my heel, I can still turn my toe out. I'll control this. He's going to want something here, so I'm going to control this. I anchor onto him somehow. I point my toe out. I square myself up with him. I lower. If it's still there, I pop it a little bit. And then I get rid of it. Okay? Now, if I'm down here and it's still deep in here like this, okay, this is going to get a little fancy. All right, so he's got a deep daily Hiva hook here. This is a really cool one. I learned from one of Gracie's black belts. The shin is in here. I'm going to tuck my head. As long as I can control this leg and get inside here, I'm going to hug his leg. I'm going to tuck my head in. I'm going to roll. Okay, figure 4, lock it up, and then calf slicer. So a little fancy, but it's a fun move to pull off. I've pulled off a lot of $10 moves tonight.
All right, yeah, time for one more for Justin's question?
One more.
Okay, Justin wanted to know, how do you escape body triangle from the back?
Okay, can you do the body triangle? I don't know if you can.
What, with this?
Okay,
Try it. I just don't know what it is.
this is what it is. We'll show the body triangle, and
Show me.
I'm
I
not
can
sure, especially with my my extra 15 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So it's this. This is the control. Okay. This is typically the control that's going to be had. A lot of times they'll have this hook here. Sometimes they'll have the hook across. Okay. They'll say don't cross the feet, but that only applies if my feet are in this region right here. Okay. If I'm off to an angle like this is perfectly okay. I'll switch my legs there. Like this is fine. I can cross my feet, but you're not going to foot lock me there. Now here, if I figure 4, it offers a lot of control. Now there is a foot lock. If he hooks over top of my leg here and lays to this side and extends his hips, he pushes in. Some people feel this, some people don't. Okay, I'm susceptible to it. I don't like doing the body triangle from the back that much because it will lock them down, but it also locks you down, right? And I like being a little bit more mobile and having a different level of control with my hooks, because I do something different with each, if I'm on strong side or weak side, right? Depending on the orientation of our upper bodies here. So that's the position. I don't think you're going to be able to figure 4 my butt. You can try it, but if I can't,
just because of my size.
yes, because you're shorter and my belly's a little bit fatter than normal. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do it. It's okay. So if you go to our YouTube channel, there is a video of me doing the defense to the body triangle. I was probably thinner then. So
We'll link it, and Gracie will have
yeah,
it.
I can link it. Yeah, I can put it in there. And it's I found it's the simplest and the safest way because I don't need to use my hands down here, right, on the legs. I can keep my hands up here to defend, and it's all, you'll see it. We put it out there probably 4 or 5 years ago, and there's some other options as well. That's typically when the figure 4 is when you land on this side. If you go to this side and the legs are on the upper side, you may have to get your hands involved to help defend or to escape the body triangle. We'll have to do that some other time. Maybe when I show Mandy, maybe I'll have Mandy demonstrate it once I teach her how to do it, because I'm pretty sure I can figure 4 her tiny belly.
I got the quarantine 15. So
Yeah, don't we all? All right, what time we got?
we are at 6:30. Do you have
6:30.
any idea what the title of that one would have been, so I can maybe link it?
I don't, but I can find it. We can definitely link that video. But if you do a search, if you go to our YouTube channel, obviously the ones on YouTube are on it right now. So YouTube/Gracie Ohio. Look in there. It was probably 3-4 years ago at least. We did the defense to the body triangle, I think is what it's called. So I think we're going to end it there unless there's any other pressing questions. My second son, it's his 17th birthday, so we're going to go have some not paleo pizza and enjoy his birthday and celebrate a little bit. And yeah, hope everybody's staying happy and healthy. And yeah, if you got any questions, type them into the description. We'll read them and we'll address them. Hope we
We'll be
can
back
see.
on Thursday.
Back Thursday. So we'll see everybody soon. Take care. Thanks. We're starting Facebook Live.